Hello. Are my videos racist? Is what I say racist? Is what I advocate racist? Well, I don't believe it is, and I'd hate to think people watch my videos and went away with a racist attitude and took it out on some poor bugger that's only just landed here through no fault of their own or whatever, or settled here. I'd hate to think that, but I believe most sensible people can see where I'm coming from. This is not about race hate, right? There's plenty of coloured people in this city that go back generations that I know, and I'm good friends with them, and may it last, right? In fact, I see them quite regularly, and there's not a racist bone in my body. But what's happening, as we've seen with other towns and cities across Britain, Liverpool's now being flooded with third world immigrants, mostly from the Islamic world. They don't fit in to our way of life, our culture. Now, I enclosed a video with the last video of Bradford, and you can see what their culture has brought to Bradford, and it's pushed out our culture. Now, that's happening as I speak right across Britain, right? In some parts of England, Lancashire, Yorkshire, East End of London, West Midlands, all over the place. Some of it is to such an extent they've actually taken over. London being one of the main cities where the indigenous white people are now a minority. Now, I don't want to see that happening to Liverpool. It's not because I hate anyone, right? I understand why these people are coming here, but it doesn't make it right? Because, like I've said, we haven't got the infrastructure. Like that London now getting on the tube. Christ, if you try to get on the London Underground, well, there's too many people there. And that's because of mass immigration. You see, when the ship came to Britain, the HMS Windrush, the late 40s, early 50s, was bringing Commonwealth citizens from the Commonwealth, coloured citizens from the Commonwealth to Britain. They loved Britain, loved the Queen. They couldn't wait to get here. And sadly for them, when they got here, they were treated in an appalling way. They were called terrible names and whatever. And boarding houses would put signs up, no blacks or dogs or whatever. That must have been terrible for them. Then they were ghettoised. And then you had a second generation then that grew up, which is one's probably involved in the Toxic Brixton riots and other riots across England at that time. So, but my point being is, when they first came to Britain, the mass immigration then was 50,000 a year, which was still high, right? But now it's something like 300,000. That's the legal ones. And most of them are from the Indian subcontinent. Like I've said, they don't fit in with our way of life. It's not hating anyone. And as we see now with Kent and Dover, they're coming in illegally. There's something like 70,000 a year, just them. There's others that are sneaking in we're unaware of. So you can see what's happening. And also, there's something like 250,000 British people leaving this country every year, while a legal small Coventry is coming in, like I said. That's not including all the illegal ones. So you can see what's happening. You can see now what's happening to Liverpool. The Chinese community and the black community here in Liverpool have been here hundreds of years. But there was such a small, tiny minority, it didn't matter. It probably enriched Liverpool, especially the Chinese community, right? But that's not what's happening now. There's a deluge, isn't there? Walk around that the town centre, Liverpool town centre of a day. Christ, it's changed so quick. It's scary. Now, the video of the procession, I think it was Muslim women wearing burqas in Bradford. Bradford's taken about 60 years to get where it is today. The rest of Britain's going to take a lot quicker than that because of the sheer volume of third world immigrants that are coming into this country. And MPs and councillors, they just seem powerless to oppose this, let alone speak up against it. And some are actually going along with it. Some maybe believe it's going to be this brave new world where it's going to be great and we're all going to live honky-dory. That's not the case. Well, let me ask you this. Where's the perfect multicultural town city in Liverpool where everyone's getting on and it's great. Where? Let me know. I'd love to know, right? So my videos are not racist, right? Far from it. But something has to be done. Someone has to say something. Now, I can say what I want because the powers that be can't take anything away from me because I've got nothing to take, and I'll gladly keep it like that. Other people I know are in important positions and sensitive jobs, and they have to be careful what they say. Well, MPs like Ian Byrne and many others, I'm not just picking you out, sir, there's many others. You need to now speak up, speak out and say, well, hold on a minute, you know, enough is enough. By all means, like I've said, a small amount of refugees we can take, but not massive amounts and endless amounts every year to the point where they're then taken over our wonderful city, and it's going to end up like Bradford, right, or London. Now, I don't believe the politicians in this city really deep down want that, and the people certainly don't. But you're remaining silent, which is wrong. It's wrong on the constituents you're meant to be representing. At the moment, like I've said, there's not a credible political party to vote for. Maybe one will come along, and when it does, remember what Joe Owens has been saying and go out and vote for them. Or if you feel that there's no one to represent you, stand yourself, right? And, you know, just be brave and just say, right, I've lived in this area all my life. What I'm saying is not racist. Let's take Kensington as an example. That place has been destroyed. Who are the reckless idiots that brought that misery upon the people of Kensington? Because that's what's happened. It is a misery, right? Now, that's going to happen to every area and district in Liverpool unless someone speaks out and puts a stop to it. Okay, I hope that explains what I'm trying to say. I hope I articulated that as best as I could. Okay, thank you.